Hey Level 1 students, it's Mr. Casey. This is your recital tutorial video to discuss your recital number and to give you something to work on at home. I hope you've definitely been taking my Level 1 class. I would try to do that once or twice a week just to keep in shape and keep all your memory with your fundamentals and your grammar terminology so that when you approach class again, we'll be right back to where we start and we can just get our bodies oiled up and ready to actually move forward with that. So level 1, and this is for the parents obviously to hear too, they're doing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, an instrumental version, which is available on your parent portal. Please make sure that they get access to that as much as possible. You can always plug this in, your device, into your TV if possible. I'm old school tech. I don't have a lot of those fancy things. I just don't tend to do a lot of tech stuff, but I know that's possible for a lot of people. So if you can do that, great. I will try to demonstrate this material as much as possible. The problem with ballet, and you'll see this as you get into older levels, is that we reverse a lot of choreography. We have one group doing one thing, we have one group doing another. We have one group going in a ripple or a canon in the music, and then the other group is doing something different at that time. Shapes are reversed, so one group doing something perhaps to the right, while the other group is doing to the left. We were fortunate to have a boy to work with, so obviously I created boy steps. So there's also a boy section. So point being, there's a lot going on in this dance that's really complicated to video by myself for you guys. So I've done my best trying to figure out how I'm going to dilute that so you guys can work a little bit, particularly on shapes and movement. At this age, a lot of the kids, it's in their memory, and when they hear the music and they get up and they start moving a little bit, all of a sudden it comes back to them and they're like, okay, I totally know what I'm doing. So I'm not too worried about that in the long term. Hopefully costumes will be here soon, and I'm so excited to see this on stage. It's been killing me as a teacher not to be able to be in the studio working with you guys. This is my job. This is where I live. This is where I work. So Monday through Saturday, it's been really hard to learn the new reel of doing this online. But fun too, a new experience and growth opportunities. So this is definitely not the best way to impart dance, particularly to a child who doesn't have a full vocabulary and understanding of the work. That happens in the studio, and for the older kids, the art is found in the studio. It's found when they can socialize and be with each other in this wonderful environment. To create a sense of routine, I've been really recommending parents get their kids dressed down in their ballet uniform. Maybe skip the bun if that's going to cause problems, but get them in their ballet uniform Monday, 3:30 in the afternoon if your schedule allots it, and get them moving. Get them actually in that routine and discipline of structure. It'll be easier when they come back, number one. Number two, it creates a sense of safety net and continuity that I know I need as a human being, I need as an adult. I practiced to the parents a little bit of that, sleeping in a little longer because I didn't have to be anywhere, and making breakfast at 11 instead of 7. But I found that for my mental health, I have to get up and take a shower, make breakfast, my coffee, what have you, do my daily to-do list. Like, I have to keep that structure for myself, and it's brightened my spirit and my soul, and communicating with others as much as possible. So I encourage you to do that with your kids, especially for dance. Keep that sense of routine. This is special to your kids. They love doing this work. The daily grind, sometimes not always, but when it's taken away, they feel it. So anyhow, what I'm going to do now is do a slight breakdown of the average steps in the dance in chronology. Hopefully they will keep that clear. That chronology is important. I'm not worried about how it looks. I'm not worried about the perfect execution of the work. I'm worried about, do they remember what comes next? Because that's easily fixed when we get back in the classroom. This dance we will do it with the music. I will choose one dancer to be, and then I will do it with the music for them. And then you can rewind it, fast forward it, go back and forth. I just encourage you to ask the child that's dancing who they are, what number they are in the group, where they are in the group, who goes before them, who goes after them, because that will jog their memory. It's there. I know it's there. They were doing it by themselves. It was completed a week, 2 weeks before we had to take a break. So it's definitely in them. They just need to figure that out. From there, rehearse it as much as possible. Daily is quite frankly the best, but definitely once a week at least. I encourage you, like I said earlier, probably to take the class once or twice a week as well, if possible. There will be updates, though modified and slow, because level one doesn't really modify their work that much. It's really about consistency and understanding. So, let's go ahead and get started. If you have any questions, you can email me. The studio sent a master teacher email list that is by business email, so feel free to email me anytime. I would love to answer any questions. If you want to send me videos of the kids doing the work, that's even better, so I can give interactive feedback, or we can try to communicate somehow online. That's totally possible. I know with technology, I just have to do the research. So that interaction is key, that they're focused and moving forward. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So I will be demonstrating it relatively. I'm going to move my computer, so hopefully you don't get seasick here. I will generally be demonstrating it from stage left. Dancers, somewhere over the rainbow, level one. Monday, 3:30 to 4:30. You know that there's a group over here, stage right, and there's a group over here, stage left. Keep in mind I'm on video, so it might be reversing my right and left. I'm new to this camera. So, as you know, you have a group, and you enter with Riker on stage in the center. He's posed in first positions with his arms giving, holding that line. There is a lot of partnering, parents side note, as well as dancers. There is a lot of touching and partnering in this dance. Worst year to have that, I know. But in level 1 and 2 pre-ballet, that's pretty normal. So that will all be deleted. Any of the touching will be deleted out of the dance once we come back. I'm not going to provide those edits today because I don't want anybody getting confused. I want them thinking, dancers, I want you thinking about your dance the way you would normally do it. Then the edits will come later. These kids are resilient. I'm not worried about the edits confusing or stressing them out or giving them anxiety. It'll be a fun new thing to look forward to when they come back, is editing that dance out a little bit. So anyways, dancers, getting back to the entrance. Remember, group ones are the first girls in line. Group 2, group 3, group 4. I believe there's 4. There might be 5. Forgive me. And then there's a boy in center. Yes? So, Riker's standing waiting for the ladies. The ladies come on one at a time in every 4 counts. They run on nicely, and they do arabesque pose with him. They turn backwards, and they run to a straight line, making first position. It's a lot of movement in this ballet. There's not a lot of steps in place. It's a lot of moving, and like I said, one group going right, one group going left, boy and girls interacting. So it's a little complicated to video the whole thing clearly. Again, if the students have questions, they can email me through their parents. That's best if they're getting really confused. But I have every faith that this is just extra tutorial to help you guys with them. It's not even really probably needed. I have great belief in my students and what they're capable of. So, going from the beginning, dancers, Riker is on stage, center in his pose. The ladies run out in groups of 2 to do their little arabesque with him. And then they turn and they go back to their straight line in first position. Every girl gets an opportunity. It's roughly every 3 to 4 counts that they run out and do their pose with him, and then run back to a straight line. From there, The girls are now in a straight line in the back in first position. One group on one side of Riker, one group on the other side of Riker. They're standing nicely, I'll face the mirror for this, in first position. This might jog their memory. Riker's in the center. He's done a port de bras, again, 2 rolls here for Mr. Casey to remember. A port de bras here, arm on the waist, presenting his group of ladies on the stage left side. Then he does it to the right, his left. And then the girls, when he presents them, they do tendu and curtsy and tendu and close. The ladies on the other side, in the other group, would do the opposite, tendu and curtsy, tendu and close. From there, Riker will walk through them. I believe actually he kind of hurriedly runs and does an arm, while the ladies do their arms here through their poses. First, fifth, second, and bob. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's a dancing arm all the way around. From there, we are now in 2 lines, splitting the center. Riker center. He copies the girls that he wanted to. I specifically remember saying he may go whichever direction he wanted, right or left. I believe he's been doing left with this group. Either way. So for the ladies and gentlemen, we do tendu and we make our tomlie into our arabesque, and then we point and we tomlie into our opposite arabesque, which would now be us facing the other group, and then in first. Then we do tendu, passe, tendu, close, tendu, passe, tendu, close. When we do our tendu, passe, tendu, close, remember that group is doing the opposite. So on this side, it would have been an arabesque to the outside, and then changing to an arabesque to the inside, and then first. And they would do left leg, up, out, in, out, up, out, in. From there, they have dancing arms, go around. In ballet, this is mime for Let Us Dance. You see Sugar Plum do it a lot of the classical ballets, the lead dancers do it when the group's going to dance. Riker then, from his center, where he's been doing the same choreography, just going to adjust my screen for a moment while I'm talking, runs around the ladies to the back, side left, and he does a step hop jump, and then he runs around the entire group. Each girl does that in what we call a canon or a ripple, where each dancer goes following the next. So it's roughly every 2 counts. I remember specifically not giving counts here because it was a complicated matter of getting the kid to cross the other kid so everybody can be seen. So that quite frankly, it's up in the air. But as long as they're jumping clean, step hop, and then running around the group, they're fine. All the girls go the same way. So if they would have been here in first position, they go step, hop, down, and they run around the line, as they well know, through, basically follow the leader, and then they come to the center. From the center, Riker would have gone forward, and the girls break into a V shape. So from the audience perspective, the opening being at the front is a V. Inverted V would be the opposite. Okay? So they break into the V, and they're lined up in this mountain shape in first. From there, they do a little run to Riker again, and they do a big arabesque this time, and then they turn and they run back to their spot. That's also done in a canon. First girl goes with her partner. So basically there's two girls coming together doing their little moment with him, and then they run back, and then the next two go, and then the next two go, and the next two go. Yes. Possibly 5. I should have looked that up before I started talking today. I'm sorry I didn't. But the kids will know I go on 1, 2, 3, or 4. I know there's only 4 groups there, but there's a possibility there's 5 actually now that I'm thinking about it. So anyhow, they do their little group dance with Riker by doing their little duet or trio, and they run back. From there, we do get a technical step they've been having trouble with. It's called pas de bourrée, which is, in its easiest form, it's a grapevine or it's a family member of that type of movement. So that group does reverse it. This was one of their big challenge steps for level 1 to make sure that they can do both. So on the stage left, it's going to go left goes back, side, front, you fall on it, back, side, front. This side would have done right, back, side, front, you fall on it, back, side, front, you fall on it. So the way the dancers, when I was a kid, I mean, there's 15,000 ways to teach a step, but the one that stuck with me best was when my teacher, and I remember my coach when I was a professional, would also say this a lot. It's 5th, 1st, 5th. So that they related directly back to the positions of the feet or legs from level 1. So quite frankly, while a hard step for level 1, possibly even too hard for this group, but they've been doing well with it. 5th, 1st, 5th is probably the best way to cue that material, right, dancers? So we would have done and 5th, 1st, 5th, fall, 5th, 1st, 5th, fall, and then you have your ballerina turn and your arabesque. And then there's a moment of release where everybody kind of slowly moves through back into a group, and they do a group pose. There's a little bit of free dance I always give in pre-ballet in level 1 to inspire creativity and movement. The problem is moments like this where I have no idea what they were doing, relatively. They were allowed to spin, jump, turn, leap. There were just a lot of opportunity for them to move by themselves as long as they kind of coagulated into this little group formation towards the back of the stage for their final moment. Then they had a big port de bras for a rainbow arm and reaching. And then they also got to choose their final pose after the rainbow arm. So, as I said, tutorial-wise, it's a little hard because there's not a lot of technical steps in it. There's the Tom Liang, which I will review shortly from the beginning. And doing it with music is going to be very complicated simply because I don't have groups. So I can be one dancer within the group of 8 or 9. As for Riker, Riker does have a few special steps, so let's go over the boys step really quick. In the beginning, he's facing back. He's already entered the stage, run on, taken his pose, and presenting the ladies on the right, and presenting the ladies here, and then down, and then around, and here, and down. From there, he turns and goes back, and he does his arms again, and then he does the technical step. So let's break down these technical steps one last time for all dancers. Ladies and gentlemen, all do it the same. However, some groups may go right, some groups may go left first. So we start with the tendu, the stretch, the Tom Liang plie through, making the arabesque, and then they pivot back to tendu, plie, pivot through to the arabesque, pivot, and close. That side would reverse it by going right first and left second. Then the next step would be the tendu, retiré or passe, tendu, and close, tendu, retiré or passe, tendu, and close. Again, reverse. This group would do the inside leg first, inside being the group. If there's 4 girls here, 4 girls here, and the boy in the center, he's the central axis, so that would be considered the inside. Meaning the right side on this group, the left side on this group. From there, Riker runs around and he initiates the jump ripple that carries them all around the stage. They're all following the leader. He comes to the center front as the ladies make their V's. He does have a little boy's jump. It's relevé, plié, jump, turn, land. Plié, relevé, plié, jump, turn, land. Then he slides to his knee and poses. That's when my ladies in the V come to his shoulder and prop up. Group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4. He gets up. And forgive me, there might have been a bow here where he bows to the ladies and they do a curtsy. I don't remember that, to be honest. I'm sure, 90% sure it's there. I'll have to confer with my assistant to double check, but it wasn't in my notes, so I might have added it later. Apologies for that. They might know. They might be like, yes, there's a curtsy there. Then we go into the pas de bourrée, 5th, 1st, 5th, and 5th, 1st, 5th, and down, the ballet turn, and then the arabesque, and then they all kind of swirl rainbow colors, so to speak, moving through shapes, their improvisation, free-form dancing, into their group pose back here. They all reach over right, over left, delay, just basically making a rainbow shape with their arm structure, and then finding some sort of a ballet pose. Some are on the ground, some are medium, some are high, standing poses, so it's kind of varied. Yeah? Okay. So let's go ahead and try this, walking through it with the music. However, like I said, I can't quite do all 8 parts and him at the same time. So I may do some vocal narration to it as well. Okay, so we have group 1 ready to go. My 2 leaders, 1 on this side, 1 on that side. I'm going to be dancing this side, and I will be dancing the first girl in line. Places dancers, Riker walks on stage and takes his first position pose. Lights go on and the music starts. Girl runs on and does her best. And then she runs around. All the other girls are following in their time and Riker gets pose. This group does their curtsy. And the other group does their curtsy. And then they do some sort of a pose. Lights would go off, blackout, they exit stage left. So again, I apologize. It's complicated to do a ballet on video. In tap and jazz, sometimes they're just in two lines of windows doing the same material. Maybe they go through each other, maybe they go around each other, but there's not a lot of complicated groupings. Ballet, we like to start that a little bit early so they're used to that as they get into more advanced material as they get a little older. So again, if you have questions or feedback, please send me an email, definitely with them dancing. That would be the best. If you can make a video for me or some pictures, and I can give them some interactive feedback. Like I said, I felt that when they left, we had already, sorry, I'm adjusting my screen, make you seasick. We had already finished it for a week or two prior to going on to spring break and our extended vacation. So, vacation relative. So I really felt confident that they knew this, and I think they do. I haven't seen them or heard from many of them because a lot of them are 1 or 2 time a weekers, so I don't have a lot of interaction until they get a little older and see or hear from them more often. So I definitely encourage you to continue taking my online class and working on this dance as much as possible, sending those emails if you have questions. I will continue hoping and praying that we all stay healthy and strong and mentally as well as physically. Kids, make sure to eat your fruits and vegetables, drink lots of water, and dance every day. Miss you lots, and I love you so much. Can't wait to see you.